everyone. My name is Dara, and I am the host here at Dear Hallmark. This is a space where we talk about all things Hallmark Channel. Now, today we're going to do a little shimmy on to our sister network, Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and we are going to be talking about The Dancing Detective and the Aurora Tea Garden prequel. But as you can see, I will not be doing this by myself. No, 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 no. The gentleman that will be accompanying me in recapping these two mysteries was previously here previewing these two mysteries with me. And so I thought why not, that we bring him back to recap and give our thoughts on it. And that is none other than Chad the Maurice. Chad, I feel like I don't know. I'm gonna try to come up with a different introduction for you each time because you hear a lot. How are you doing?
I'm, I'm hanging in there, doing
Yes,
okay.
we appreciate you hanging in there. We need you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Thank you.
So you were here previously with me for the Chad and Dara
Hmm.
preview show, and we were previewing the June movies. And when we got to Hallmark Movies and
The wedding
Mysteries,
movies.
the let's just have a moment of silence for those wedding movies. No, but when we talked about these two mysteries, we had differing opinions on ones
Hmm.
that we were excited about. You were excited
Hmm.
about the Aurora Tea Garden prequel, and I was super
Hmm.
excited about Dancing Detective. So I'm super happy that you found time in your schedule to pencil me in so that we could recap these movies. How are you feeling about
I am feeling confident in what I said during the preview show.
it? Hair flip. Okay, then. That's the energy that we are on for this episode. But before we get into those reviews, Chad, since this is kind of your first mystery recap here at the home of Dear Hallmark, let's talk a little bit about your mystery history. Tell us a little bit
Hmm.
about how you got into the mysteries and shed light on what are a few of your favorite mysteries series within the canon.
Okay. Well, back before it was called Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, back when the channel was called the Hallmark Movie Channel, they used to show the Kelly Martin series, Mystery Woman,
Yes.
and the one with Leah Thompson,
Yes.
Jane Doe Mysteries or something like that. So I got hooked on the mysteries watching those movies. I thought those were really good. And then they changed the name of the channel to Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. Then they started coming out with all these murder mystery movies. And my favorite was like as well. It's now it's history. It was a garage sale mystery. I
That's a
thought
good
that
one.
was like my favorite series.
Yeah. Now, you have an interesting perspective because you
Yeah.
witnessed the shift with what new viewers and fans of Hallmark find as like the classic mysteries, but
Mm-hmm.
you were there to witness their introduction. What did what did
Mm-hmm.
that feel like for you? Because it's almost like history is repeating itself, where there's a lot of what we deem as like the classics or the signatures or the tried and true mysteries. They're now canceled, and we're seeing
Mm-hmm.
this whole new batch of mystery series being given to us. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like you're living through two or three, if you will, different eras of the
Mm-hmm.
mysteries. Can you talk a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about what that feeling was like for you when the first batch of mysteries, like Aurora or Mystery 101 crossword, like how when those came along, and then how that's the same or different than these new mysteries that we've been getting today.
Yeah, when the first batch came along, I think the first ones after they changed the name of the network, the first ones they came out with were Garage Sale Mysteries and Aurora Tea Garden. I think those were the first two,
Mm-hmm.
and those were both really good. But I want to say you mentioned one thing about history repeating itself. Back when it was called the Hallmark, or back when it was called, what was it called? Hallmark Movie Channel or something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they showed a lot of the serious drama movies like we're getting now, you know,
Wow.
in replace of the mystery ones.
Yeah.
You know, like The Unexpected Grace and The Color My World with Love. They
Yeah.
showed more of those types of movies. So then they changed the name of the channel, flooded it with all these murder mysteries, and then now they're kind of going back to the drama movies like they had before. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So, could you talk about though, like being introduced to all those mysteries in the past, like the
Mm-hmm.
crossword, the mystery 101?
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts? Because now we're seeing that again with all of these new mystery series. Like, do you find that your experience has been the same as you witnessed those mysteries come onto the channel, and with these new mysteries that we have?
Yeah, yeah. I think the quality is all the same. The
Mm.
quality is all the same. I kind of got the feeling though that they flooded the channel with so many mysteries that I don't know if people got tired of them, or I don't know if there were
Mm.
like so many different series. It was like
Mhm.
overload.
Mhm.
And I think that may be why they started doing more of these dramatic movies and less of the mysteries. I
That's
don't know if that was the
interesting.
case, but I thought like there was so many series and so many, it was just coming at you left and right, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And instead of sticking with ones that they started with, they started introducing all these new ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you have such an interesting perspective as someone who's witnessed the evolution of the channel. So that's interesting. So we do have a little bit of news that we can talk about. It may not be news by the time you guys hear this, but it's definitely news as it pertains to mysteries in the Dear Hallmark space. So you know the
Mm-hmm.
whole hullabaloo about Mystery 101, right? And it's getting
Yeah.
canceled, and people want to cancel Hallmark. Like it was a
Mm-hmm.
big to do. But
Mm-hmm.
most recently, Chad, I don't know if you read or saw. I think you were the one who sent it to me, actually. The the article that came out from that, I think it's called The Sun or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
Wanya, they titled it Wanya Lucas Breaks Silence on Why Mystery 101 was canceled, or something
Mm-hmm.
to that effect.
Right. Right.
Um, but if you watch the video and then read the transcription and what she said, she really didn't give a reason for
No.
why it was canceled, which I think frustrated people even more because it's like, what are we doing here? You know, like why are we even why are we talking about this? Like, or why, like, if you're going to talk about it, you know, say what you're saying. Um, but she also mentioned SSD in that.
Mm-hmm.
That also gets mentioned about how they're still trying to get a new one. She used the word trying to get a new one or do something with it, but to keep
Yeah.
telling the
Didn't.
postables. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she said we're not finished. We're not done with that series. I think is what she said. Isn't
Yeah.
that what she said?
Yeah, that's what she
Yeah.
said. Yeah. How do you feel about that article as a longtime mystery watcher, but also as a postable?
Well, I thought it was interesting. She kind of dodged the question about Mystery 101.
Yeah.
She kind of skirted around that. She didn't
She
want to
says,
say
"Skirt."
obviously why they discontinued it. All
Mm-hmm.
she said was, "Oh, we've got new series coming out and blah blah blah. We were there, we did that, but now we have new series, new things coming on the
Mm-hmm.
horizon." Um, and the SSD thing, I was kind of I was kind of I don't know, I was 50-50 on whether there was going to be a new movie or not. I was kind of expecting it, but maybe not expecting it.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that it was going to continue. I should say I was more like 60-40, sixty
Okay.
percent that it would continue, 40% that it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Just because of the success of the last movie and
Mm-hmm.
all the social media attention the last movie got. So I figured they were going to continue it.
Yeah.
So I was surprised though. Well, she said it on this red carpet, but the reason she said it was because Eric Mabius kind of accidentally blurted it out during
I
an
saw
interview a couple weeks before that.
I saw that
So
and I
that's why she
said,
brought it
"Oh,"
up on that red carpet interview.
because she was like, someone broke the news or spilled it before ahead of time or ahead of
Yeah.
me." But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Otherwise, because otherwise she never would have mentioned it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now
but yeah, I'm excited. You should be excited too because you like the series too, right?
I do, but I'm also like I still need time to watch the rest of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just finished From the Heart. So I am still
Oh,
working
okay.
my way through, and I'm watching them in order. I'm following
Mm-hmm.
Casey's instructions. I know that there's a
Mm-hmm.
method to this madness, and I'm following the
Mm-hmm.
method to the madness. And I am.
Mm-hmm.
This makes me even like when I look back on Ramadrama West Palm Beach, like, dang, I wish that we could have another SSD experience, and I would be all the way in, all the way
Uh-huh.
in, all the way in.
Yeah, because you didn't know who the actors were when you were at last year's Roma
I
drama.
knew Eric Mabius because I knew him from
Yeah,
Ugly Betty, but everyone else, I was
right.
like,
Yeah,
I
you were.
don't
Yeah,
know.
you weren't sure who they were, but now you know them. Yeah, as their characters.
Yes,
Yeah.
man, that's a perfect show. It's a perfect show. Um,
Although I don't consider it to be like a mystery, like these murder mystery movies. It's like its own separate entity. It's not really a
it's a
mystery show, I don't think.
it's special.
Yeah.
It's really unique. It's a unicorn in the Hallmark universe, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it definitely needs more love and attention than what it's been
Yeah.
given. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
so. Well, last bit of news, Chad. Curious Caterer is getting at least 2 to 3 more episodes. We're getting
Mm-hmm.
2 more installments of Curious Caterer. I know Andrew broke the news at Christmas Con, Kansas, that they just filmed one before, like I think April ish. They filmed
Mm-hmm.
the third one, and then at
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Con, he broke the news that there's going to be an additional two.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about that? Are you a curious caterer? Like do you do you like that series? Is that something you're looking forward to?
I only saw the first one, but I liked it. It was
Oh,
good.
yeah,
And
the first one's good.
Nikki and Andrew are always good together. So everyone knew that series that was going to continue
Yeah,
because of those two. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I strongly disliked the second one.
Yeah, I know you. I know you didn't like the second one. I have to watch the second one. I got to see it. What it was all
God's
about.
Godspeed because it's. I'm just saying. It was hard. It was rough for me to get through, which I hate saying because it has my the cousin in it. But man,
Mm-hmm.
man, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about The Dancing Detective and Aurora Tea Garden, the prequel. Let's first
All
start with
right.
the one that aired first, which is The Dancing Detective, that aired June 2nd, 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, Chad, let's talk about first our expectations and what we thought, kind of like summarizing our thoughts from the preview show on The Dancing Detective. I will give you the floor first. Go ahead, sir.
Well, like I mentioned on our preview episode, because of the cheesy title, I was worried that the movie was going to be cheesy. And I had a right to be worried because I thought it was cheesy.
The views of Chad the Maurice does not reflect the views of Dear Hallmark or Dara Austin.
I thought, you know, during the first half hour of this thing, I was thinking, is this a romantic comedy or is this a murder mystery? What's going on here? I wasn't sure. I'm like, this movie should be on the Hallmark Channel, not on the Murder Mysteries channel. I'm like, it's a comedy.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
wasn't sure how I felt about them combining like a romantic comedy and a murder mystery into one movie. I wasn't sure how I felt about
Yeah,
that.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Because usually the mysteries are kind of dark and serious.
Yeah.
And this one wasn't at all. And so it kind of took me by surprise a little bit.
Well, how did you feel about Cases of Mystery Lane? Did you see that one yet? With Paul
Is that the one with
Campbell?
Paul Campbell? I didn't see that one. Yeah, I didn't see that one. But I heard that had humor in it too, right?
It had. it had a lot of humor. Now it did have a I'll just say I'm curious to see what your thoughts would be on that compared to this. So I'll just leave it there.
Wait, did this movie have more humor than that one?
I don't think, not in my opinion. I will say I think this
Oh,
movie
okay.
was more lighthearted, but I think
Hmm.
cases like you can tell like there was quips and wit and sarcasm like that was in it. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
but this movie had like humor in every scene. which
so
which wasn't a bad thing. I mean, Will Kemp was great. I mean, Will Kemp's a funny guy, and he was very entertaining. I'm not saying that. I mean, he did a great job, but I'm just
but
saying I'm not sure if it jived with the serious content of someone getting murdered.
so your what you thought in the preview show, the movie lived up to it basically.
I thought, yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that this looked really slick and I was going to enjoy it and I was
Yeah.
excited for it. And I it proved right in my opinion as well. I appreciated the lighthearted aspect of this. I could
Hmm.
feel that Malta held a lot of weight in terms of it being a destination. It held a lot of weight
Hmm.
into in the enjoyment of the movie because while they did have another mystery movie, To Catch a Spy, that was in Malta, and I didn't like that one though. I like this one better than To Catch a Spy.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm of the camp. I'm just ready to enjoy Hallmark movies again. I think because of just how my experience has been this year with Hallmark movies. I was happy to just be able to enjoy a really good movie, and I thought that this movie was really well done on all cylinders, and it did live up to my expectations. Where I thought it would be slick, it would be a fun time, Malta would be
Hmm.
beautiful, and I got all those things. I got all those
Okay.
things.
All right.
So let's get a little granular. Put our little microscope glasses on, if you will, and talk. Let's talk about some things that. Let's start off with what we didn't enjoy, and then we'll end kind of more so on what we enjoyed the most.
Oh,
So
okay.
just to kind of switch it up, what are some things that you did? Well, I feel like you're going to be talking more on this. I'm gonna just pass the baton and give you the floor. But
Let me
what
get out
are
my list here.
Yep, your CVS receipt, long list. What were some things that stood out to you that you didn't enjoy about The Dancing Detective?
All right. Well, first of all, right from the beginning, I thought was ridiculous that they sent a U.S. detective to Malta to help Interpol solve a crime. I mean, I'm like, that would never happen. I
But
mean,
I thought it was
so right
because
there, I was kind of out of the story because I was like, no, this isn't even believable.
but I thought it was because of the personal relationship that the chief had with because the dude who died was the senator's brother and he was American. And so because the dude was American, that was an end for America to bring over one of theirs to help participate in the solving of the case because they have background.
All right, could be, but I looked up on the internet. I did some Googling here.
You Googled,
All right,
schmoogled? Okay.
Interpol. Okay, this is what I read.
Yes, sir.
Interpol has agents on undercover assignments in all regions of the world.
Okay.
Contrary to the Hollywood image of Interpol, the General Secretariat does not send officers on undercover assignments. All investigations and arrests are carried out by national police in their own country.
Okay, but then when do we just enjoy a movie? You know what I'm saying? Like, when do we?
I know. Movies have to have some sort of disbelief in order for the movie to
No.
occur. I know there's
Yeah.
got to be something
I
that's
I can
unbelievable.
understand though how that could take away from your enjoyment. I understand.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't take away from me enjoying. It was just ridiculous, but. But but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
movies have some ridiculous plot part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, no, I already mentioned that I found it strange about the combining the romantic comedy with the murder mystery. I already mentioned that.
Yeah.
All right, the other thing I was concerned about this movie is that how are they going to continue it? Is there going to be dancing in every movie if they continue this series? Are
For
they
it
going to
is
be competing in a
necessary.
dance comp? What?
It is necessary
Which
to have dance for the
I
dancing
mean,
detective
how
series.
are they going to incorporate dancing into every single movie?
Exhibit A, you can do the Royal Waltz in Britain. You can have the Samba in Brazil. You can do another. I wish they didn't do the tango on this one because you could have done an Argentine tango in Argentina. It would have been
Well, the guy
great.
that was the murder victim owned a dancing instruction school or something like that, right? So how are they going to tie that into the next movie?
Well, they
How
don't
the, how
have
can they?
to.
I
They
don't
can
see how they can
just
do this.
they can well like so with the British with the waltz, like if they were to do a classic waltz, that could be around a royal ball. That doesn't have to necessarily pull the thread. Or if there's maybe there's an underground samba, like going, what's that movie? If we go Step Up or You Got Served style, and maybe there's an underground ballroom scenario in Brazil, and then they need to do the samba. Like when you let your imagination run wild, there's so many different directions you can take it.
So in every movie, a dancer has to get killed, or
Not
someone that's
necessarily a
tied to
dancer.
dancing.
So like for the royal waltz, a dancer doesn't have to get killed. It could be like someone connected to the royal family, or someone
Mm-hmm.
stole the royal jewels, and so
Mm-hmm.
now Constance Bailey has to go with Sebastian, and then like Sebastian finds himself in London, and then they're like, oh, this dude again. I guess he's moonlighting as my husband again, or something else. If you just let your imagination run free, so many things could happen.
Or they could do a Christmas movie where a Rockette gets murdered. There you go.
That's wow. Did
Yeah,
you
so I
ever?
don't see how is there going to be a dancing competition in every movie? I don't know. I couldn't figure that out. So those were the things that I was concerned about. All right, your turn. What were you thinking?
Now wait, are you sure that's speaking now forever hold your peace? Is that your final answer? Are you sure?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So for me, what was a few elements I didn't enjoy the climax when she found out or kind of confirmed who did it. That whole
Yeah.
part was incredibly underwhelming,
hmm
and I
Right.
honestly
Right.
didn't even know what was going on. I had a
Yeah, that
carrot
was.
cake moment where I was like, "Wait, is she dizzy?" Then I thought someone else did it, and I just that part was very choppy to me as a viewer, and that I think that was the biggest thing that tripped me up was the ending. The ending was very like turbulent, and it didn't land
Right.
well. And I
Right.
think, yeah,
Right. That brings on another. I don't know. Are you going to talk about the mystery in a different section?
yes, yes, yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay. I'll
yeah.
I'll save what I was going to say for later. Okay.
We're actually gonna
Yeah,
talk
but I
about
agree.
that.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that was my biggest letdown, or like the biggest thing that kind of pulled me out. I was like, ooh, that was a little chomping, but yeah.
And didn't they have like a little fight on the balcony or something? Didn't they have a
Fight
girl
is
fight or something?
I'll call it a
Yeah.
scuffle. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was a little scuffle. Like it wasn't, no
hmm
fists were thrown per se. So let's get into the mystery of the dancing detective. So Constance goes to Malta because
hmm
the CEO of this company gets murdered. Well, he gets poisoned. That's how the murder takes place.
hmm
Now, he owns this company, but he puts on ballroom dance competitions as kind of like corporate team building morale, kind of like how sometimes companies send their executives to these corporate retreats to do team building exercises. His version of team building exercises are these ballroom dance competitions. So
Hmm.
they're in Malta for this ballroom dance competition. He gets poisoned. Constance is there. She needs someone to teach her how to ballroom dance so she can go undercover into the ballroom dance competition. And who we have
Hmm.
but Sebastian. So, and then they go through the days trying to solve it and blah blah blah. So, Chad, talk to the people. Just give us the 411 on your thoughts about the mystery of this movie. Break it down, what you liked, what you didn't. Just go in. Just go in.
I thought the mystery, just like the movie, was cheesy. Yeah, they did have some characters that had motive to commit the murder. So they had a lot of characters, but the ending, like you mentioned, the ending. They find this picture of the guy who got killed, and in this picture, he's with his daughter. And it was just crazy that they don't recognize her as being the woman who works for the company they're investigating just because her hair is a different color. I mean, come on, they got a picture of her. They're holding a picture of her. And they're like, who's this woman he's standing with in this picture? Like, oh, I've never seen her before. What are they talking about? They've been with her throughout the entire movie. How can they not recognize her? I thought that was ridiculous.
So, what did you think about? So, you thought that having the guy poisoned was cheesy, or the fact that it was on the backdrop of a ballroom dance competition that was cheesy?
Oh no, that wasn't cheesy. I thought just the like the end, like what I how they just finally realized who the murder was and who the murder
Okay.
was and how they had a
Yeah.
picture of the murderer in their pocket the entire movie and they didn't know it. That's what I thought was ridiculous.
Did you guess early on who it was? Like, did you have a good inkling of who it was
Yeah,
as
I
you were
knew about an
watching?
hour into the thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
knew about an hour in. Yeah.
What was, and spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, what was something to you? I just wanted to give people time so that they could pause. Um, what's what stood out to you that made you kind of come to that conclusion an hour in, that you were like, oh, it's her?
Because I was thinking the other characters were too obvious.
In that their motive was too strong, or like they were put
Yeah,
out too
yeah,
much in
yeah,
front.
yeah. Because these movies, they never make it the obvious person. They always make it someone that you don't expect. You know.
Okay, so you were using
So
your
we were
mystery
seeing this
history.
character. So we
Okay.
were seeing this character every so often. She would appear. She wasn't in every scene, but she would pop up every so often. She was there during the dance competition. I'm like, who's that woman? Who's that woman there? I bet she's the killer. Just because they weren't showing her a lot. And although I had no idea how she was connected to the whole story until the end, when you find out that
I was gonna say nobody did because I was like, whoa,
she was the daughter of the first CEO that died from a mysterious heart attack, right?
right, being overworked.
Yeah, right. And apparently,
Um,
what was her motive? I was a little confused on what her motive was.
well, he
Do they
wasn't the
think these people
former.
killed? Do they think that these people killed her father, and that's what her motive was? To
She thinks that he overworked her dad, which drove him to an early grave, and
Oh,
so
okay,
that's why she wanted to get
okay,
him back. Yeah,
okay, I got you. Okay,
yeah.
all right.
But
Yeah, I was a little confused about what her motive was too.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Well, and it's funny because I guessed it as I guessed correctly like only a half hour in, and
Oh, you
it's
knew a half hour. Oh, did you?
because the word what she said right when Constance and Sebastian were on their balcony, they just got checked in, and she was coming in to check on them, and she said something about them being worked like workhorses or something like that, and she said it with some bitterness, and I was like, oh, it was her. But what, but what I appreciated that they did is like you said, there were a lot of people that it could have been. Like it
Hmm.
really could have gone either way. And as we were getting to know the other characters,
Hmm.
you really were like, well, wait, did they do it? They could have. Like
Right.
the marketing woman and the CFO, who you're
Hmm.
just like, well, are they together? Are they not? Are they frenemies? Are they just corporate
Hmm.
rivals, or are they just they both hate the guy, so they have like a trauma bond or something? Like they
Hmm.
just they just want to work together because they just don't like the dude, or like that. I liked them, and I liked how too you didn't know who that lady was, who was the housekeeper,
Oh
who
yeah. I
I
knew she was suspicious right from the opening scene. I could tell she was suspicious. Yeah.
I liked her connection though,
Yeah.
even though that did fall a tiny bit flat, but I liked how it kind of played out, what her
Hmm.
connection was.
Right.
I was like, that was
Right.
fun. I like that.
Hmm.
I like that.
Because I thought she may have had something to do with it.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
I will say like I didn't feel any urgency for them to solve it. Like you know how sometimes they're on some type of timetable,
Right.
or like
Right.
because there's a serial killer and they don't want someone else to die, so they need to hurt. Like I
Hmm.
didn't feel, even though they mentioned it, I didn't feel any urgency. I think because again, this movie was so lighthearted, which I appreciated. I liked
Hmm.
that it gave a different feel to the mysteries, and I feel like I just have to swallow it at this point with what Hallmark is doing with the mysteries and how much they're trying to, like how much they're trying to change it. And so I'm just like, okay, all right, let's just do this. Let's see what you
You're
got.
just
Okay.
gonna go with the flow, huh?
At the,
Right.
because like I guess at this point I'm exhausted from being exhausted, you know? So it's like because I'm just like, they're not going to bring any of the whole old series back, but yet they keep
Right.
renewing Hannah Swenson, and I don't like it personally. I
Hmm.
didn't like
Hmm.
the Sweet Revenge, and I didn't like Carrot Cake. I like Murder She
Hmm.
Baked better.
I
So
like,
that
yeah, I like Murder She Baked. Those were good. Yeah, I
those were
like
very
those.
good, and I rewatched
Yeah.
all of those before Carrot Cake, so I could come in
Hmm.
with like kind of it fresh on the brain. And I'm like, what
Hmm.
happened that they switched it from this Murder She Baked to Hannah Swenson? But anyway, I
Hmm.
digress.
And,
I'm
and and Murder She Baked, they should have kept that love triangle going longer.
especially because of how long they're doing this series now, because they promised, like they're
Hmm.
shooting the next one right now.
Hmm.
I miss the small town feel, but I like that
Hmm.
with Dancing Detective. This could be a destination mystery series. Like I feel like we'll have our small towns or our main cities for the other mystery series, and in this one, this can be like our fun travel buddy, where we're going different places. We're going to different sites. I mean, Sebastian is doing his little foo la la thing where he's just wearing his
Hmm.
suits and his sunglasses. Constance is
Hmm.
constantly annoyed, and it's just gonna be so much fun. Like, I'm excited for that, and I also am looking forward to. Hopefully, this is being greenlit. The John Christian Plummer Mystery Island concept of a mystery where it's all these eccentric millionaires and billionaires on this island for vacation, for a murder mystery themed vacation, but it turns into a real murder mystery. Like
Hmm.
I think that would be a dope one off, like a
That would
really
be, yeah.
good like just a I think that because I can't see that one as a series, honestly. But I think that would be such a dope one off, and then using the opportunity to do like the Avengers of Hallmark, so bringing in like Christopher Palaha, um, maybe Tyler Hines, Michael Rady, and then we'll have Jill Wagner, a Mallory Jansen, we'll have an Autumn Reeser, or even a Nikki, like having just kind of this all ensemble cast for this one off movie. Like I think that would be really really dope. So I feel like I can dig the change, but
Hmm.
it's just really hard. Like it's
Hmm.
really really hard. But I think if they just make really good ones like this, like I feel like we're going somewhere, you know? I feel like
All
we're going
right.
somewhere. Yeah. So let's talk about something that we enjoyed. Like, what are some things that you enjoyed about this
Oh,
mystery?
the thing I enjoyed was Will Kemp. Without him, this movie would have been toast. I mean, this.
Ooh, do tell, sir, do tell.
Yeah, I thought he was great in this movie. He provided a lot of humor, and I appreciated his humor.
Yeah,
That scene where she walks into the first goes to meet him, and she walks into that dance studio, and
that's my
he's
favorite.
dancing around.
That's my favorite
Yeah, he's
scene.
dancing around with
Yes,
all these couples, and he's saying, "Oh,
yes,
way to go here, way to go there," and he's like
yes.
encouraging all these couples. Oh, that was hilarious. That was funny.
That's my favorite scene of the whole
Yeah,
movie. I
yeah.
loved it. I can tell he had so much fun. He was just
Oh,
letting
yeah.
live, just like getting into
Yep.
it. And did you
Yeah,
know
it looked like he was having a
this
ball.
movie was his idea? Like he's EP on this movie.
Oh, was
And
it? Okay.
yeah, he did an interview with the ladies from Suspenders Unbuttoned, and he worked with a writer. Oh, I forget the writer's name. Dang it. Y'all check out that interview with Suspenders Unbuttoned. I'm going to link it here in the show notes. And if you're listening via podcast, and I'll also link it in the description box if you're watching via YouTube. But check out Suspenders Unbuttoned's interview with Will Camp. He just sheds light on like being involved in the production aspect of it. And it was his like he wanted Lacey on it, so she wasn't originally. I don't think she
Oh,
was the
okay.
original person. He was like, "Yeah, let's bring in Lacey on this," and so I echo you. Like he did his thing, and I want to see more of Will this way. Like I like what we saw. I like this character for Will. I
Hmm.
feel like he
Yeah,
does a really good
yeah.
job being that like
Oh, yeah.
goofy, exuberant,
Hmm.
charismatic. Like
Hmm.
I and he was using his accent. Hello, like he
Oh,
wasn't.
that was another good scene. The scene where they're driving along the water there, and he's trying
Yeah,
out different accents and what kind of character he should be. That was a good scene too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she's just like, well, the one you have will be fine. Thank you. Yeah, and honestly, I loved Malta. I fell in love with Malta, and now I want to
Yeah, that was
go
my other plus. Yeah,
to
the beautiful
Malta.
scenery. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Malta. Yeah, yeah, that was definitely nice.
I think this is their third movie with Malta because they have To Catch a Spy. They did Mix Up in the Mediterranean in Malta with
Oh, okay.
Jessica Lowndes and Jeremy
Mm-hmm.
Jordan. And now we have
Mm-hmm.
The Dancing Detective. So I think Hallmark has a thing for Malta.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was nice.
So the last question before we move, and you already answered this, but I'm gonna ask you it again because
What?
this is the format of the show. Do you want to see a sequel to this movie?
Another good thing I did forgot to mention was the
Yes.
chemistry. I thought they did have good chemistry together,
Yes, I
but I
agree.
knew they were going to because they've done like two other movies together. This is like their third movie they've done together, so I knew they were going to be good together.
And I think they're becoming one of my favorites as well. And I want to bounce them off of Nikki and Andrew. So if we could go back to the second Curious Caterer, what kind of pulled me out of it is I felt that Nikki and Andrew were a little bit too comfortable with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like there wasn't that sense like that was it was hard for me to believe that they didn't
Oh
already
yeah,
know each
yeah.
other because of how comfortable
Uh-huh.
they are, with working together.
Right,
But with
right.
this one, I still felt it still felt fresh and it still felt new. Like they
Yeah,
made me believe that
right,
they really didn't know each other. You
right,
know what I mean? So yeah,
right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was something
Mm-hmm.
that I appreciated.
So yeah, oh yeah. So I already talked about would I want it to continue?
Yeah.
I would like it to continue. I would say yeah, but I'm concerned about how they would do it. Like I mentioned before, how are they going to incorporate dancing into several movies? I don't see how they could do that.
Well, he said he already has a couple in the canon, so they've already thought
Really?
this out. Yeah, they've
Oh,
already
okay.
thought this
All
out.
right.
So it's going to be
Okay.
interesting to see how long it's going to take to get another one off the ground and what that'll look like. Yeah.
Now, some people complained. What are your thoughts on how did you enjoy the dancing scenes? Because some people thought there was too much dancing. They didn't really enjoy the dance, and other people loved the dancing scenes. What were your thoughts on
Well,
that?
I'm biased because I took ballroom in college and
Oh, you did.
I did. I love ballroom dance. So there can
Mm-hmm.
never and I was like assistant choreographer at my church. So there can never be too
Oh, okay.
much dance. It just has to be done well. Cause like there
Mm-hmm.
was dancing in Undercover Holiday last year. Throw that away. This this is what, and I could tell Lacey's been practicing, even from the Christmas waltz. It
Mm-hmm.
was almost like she just walked off set. Her form, sharp, clean, the
Mm-hmm.
lines, do it. The
Mm-hmm.
her little feet. Oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
all of it was just,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me want to go back into ballroom dance.
Mm-hmm. This
So
was kind of like a sequel to the Christmas Waltz with a murder, with the dead body.
sprinkle a little murder. And then you have well, no, this can't be the sequel because apparently there's always a sequel.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that sequel.
So, so there's that. But any final thoughts on the Dancing Detective before we move on to your favorite?
I can tell you don't like. I can tell you don't like the next one at all. Um, no, I think I got everything out.
Okay, so let's do a quick rating. Let's do out of magnifying glasses. We'll rate both with magnifying glasses. Out of 5, how many magnifying glasses will
Oh,
you
the
give
dancing detective.
the Dancing Detective now that you've seen it? Because I think you gave this
Uh,
2 in the preview.
did I really?
You gave it 2 or 3. Like you weren't about that life.
Yeah, I was. I'll give it 3. I think I'll give it 3.
And I'm gonna give it 4. I'm gonna give it
Nah, I knew
4.
it. I knew
Yeah.
it.
If the ending ended differently and it was stronger, it would have been perfect for me. But yeah. All right, Chad. Okay, now we're getting into the next mystery, the Aurora Tea Garden mystery, something new. I have been mistakenly calling it the Aurora Pre Garden because I've been mixing up Prequel and Tea
Oh
Garden.
geez. Oh
So
geez.
if I say that, just apologies. But the Aurora Tea Garden prequel aired the week right after The Dancing Detective. This one stars Skylar Samuels, who is new to Hallmark, but our detective in this is not new to Hallmark, Mr. Evan Roderick. He was previously in Autumn in the City, and he did A Tale of Two Christmases, of which I loved him in both. And so he was the main draw for me. So, Chad, let's talk about what our expectations were before getting into this movie and then what the overall consensus was for you. Go ahead.
Well, I was looking forward to this movie,
You were. You
and I
were.
told you that I thought it was going to be better than the CCB movies.
You did. You did.
I did. I did. And I know you're going to be shocked when I say this, but I was not disappointed.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I thought this was really good,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, do I dare say?
Listen, Dear Hallmark is where you dare.
Do I dare?
Dare.
I think it was better than the Candace movies. There you go. I said it.
Wow.
There you go.
Oh, we're going to get into that as we chop it up. But talk about a hot take. My goodness. Woo. All right, then.
Mm,
Well, my expectations going in, I was giving it major side eye. I said,
mm,
why
oh
are we
yeah.
even doing
Oh
this?
yeah.
What is the purpose? Why? So I
Mm-hmm.
had the lowest of low expectations, and you will
Yep.
be shocked to know that I wasn't disappointed. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought that I would.
Oh, good. I was hoping you would. Good.
But I think the thing that really was the biggest weight that pulled the movie down was the why couldn't this just be a new mystery series? Why did this have to be an Aurora
Oh, yeah.
prequel? You know, like
Yeah, I see what you mean.
it
Right.
didn't shed light on anything. It didn't, because I don't know if if they're going to be making this a series or if this was just a one off. So it really
Hmm.
didn't uncover anything that about Aurora that would kind of clue us into why she was the way she or why she is the way she is in
Right.
the, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's true.
So
That's
I'm
true.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why? But
Right.
I overall I enjoyed Skylar and Evan.
Hmm.
Listen, he got one more movie and he's about to become one of my favorites, okay? So he did his thing in it.
Hmm.
And overall I was like, okay, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
That's what that's what I told you during our preview show. I thought a lot of people had your attitude and opinion on it, and I said I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. I think people are going to enjoy it.
So I will say this though, what went into my enjoyment of it was so Skylar and Evan's chemistry
Hmm.
more so than the story.
Right.
I think Skylar and Evan have amazing chemistry together, and I
Hmm.
would love to see them in one of the regular like romantic comedies on Hallmark Channel. I would love to see them in that
Hmm.
space. I think they would kill it, and I think we're looking at
Hmm.
the forming of a new power Hallmark couple.
Hmm.
If they play their cards right, I feel like they could be like a Nikki and Andrew, a Paul and Kimberly, a Lacey and Will. Like I see them. If Skylar wants to do more Hallmark movies outside of the mysteries, I can totally see them being that in our Hallmark space, but for the newer generation of Hallmark viewers. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah. Okay then. Okay, so let's talk about some elements that we didn't enjoy about the Aurora Tea Garden mystery. Something
Okay. Well, as much as I love Mary Lou Henner, why did they have her playing her mother? Because she looked the same as she did when Aurora was in her 40s,
Chad.
you know?
That was on my list too. I just a big
Yeah.
old question mark on a lot of stuff.
I,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's like we went back in time, but Aurora's mother didn't.
She was Tony Stark and like found the found a way to still be the same. But dang it, what was I gonna ask you? Oh yeah, what was just what else didn't you like? What was something
The
like
other
kind of
thing,
didn't like about it?
all
Go
right,
ahead.
I didn't, all right, this is bad to say. I didn't care for the actress who played Sally.
Let's talk
I
about it
mean,
because that's the
I mean,
biggest
she's,
thing for me.
yeah, I mean, she's a good actress, nothing against her. It's just, she didn't look or act like the Sally character from the other movies that we know. And I thought that she acted like an idiot in this movie because her fiance had so many red flags. He was like a walking stop sign. And yet she still wanted to marry him. I'm like, girl, you are nuts. What?
Brother, let me tell you. I so at first I'm thinking, so is that who's is how that actress played Sally? Is that truly what we're saying Sally used to be, but then this situation made her turn into the Sally that we see in the Candace Cameron Bure Tea Gardens? Because we see that Sally is very much more like about the facts, getting the story.
Yeah.
What do you need?
Yeah.
I'm
She's
here to support.
completely different.
Like it's night
Completely
and
different
day.
character.
So
Yeah.
I'm one. So at first I'm thinking, did they have her play this character like this because we're seeing kind of this is how Sally turns into that character, but we don't know because we will need to see another one to to confirm that. Now, if she's the same in the second one, bye, bye, bye,
Yeah, I
Sally,
know.
bye,
I
bye,
know.
Sally.
I know. Yeah.
But she was incredibly whiny
Yeah,
and
she was. Yep.
annoying, in all
Yeah,
honesty.
she
And I'm
was.
like,
Yep.
so you just not gonna
Yep.
believe, you just gonna stick by him through the whole, like you just not gonna have no doubts. Like you're not
I
gonna
know.
ask him any questions. You just gonna have blind faith and just walk
Yeah.
this plank. And look, you ended up,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
I,
She almost married a murderer.
yeah. Can we say what's up to Steve Basic though? Like as
Oh,
the
that was on my pro list. That was on the things that I enjoyed.
okay, we'll talk about that
Yeah.
later then. So, well,
Okay.
shout out
All right.
Steve. But I would say, yeah, the biggest letdown was Sally, and then just me wondering why I'm watching this and why is this an Aurora prequel? Like
Yeah,
why?
you're right. That's a good point. It could have been just a new mystery series with different character names and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been.
What did
Yeah.
you think about the diner dude who was feeling Aurora? That could have been
Oh, yeah.
like a potential love. I'm kind of 50-50 on him. What do you feel about him?
Yeah, well, obviously, the story is that Aurora and Arthur have feelings for each other, but they don't
Right,
admit it.
right.
But then this guy had the hots for Aurora and was trying to ask her out. Aurora didn't seem to be into him though. But at the end, I think they were going out on a date when the movie ended, right? Weren't
Right,
they going to go out? Yeah.
right. So I think it's hard to say. I think it's hard to conclude a lot unless we have a second movie. Like if they give us another
Hmm.
movie to see where this
Right.
is gonna go.
Because they he wasn't in very many scenes, so you don't know a lot about the guy.
Right, he's very much a mysterious character.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like the potential of a love triangle. I'm always down for some
Hmm.
triangulation. I like it.
You're always down for a threesome, right?
Wait a minute. Dang it, I don't have my buzzer.
Where's your buzzer?
When I need it, I don't have it. Dang it. That's not what I said, Chad. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna move on. Let's talk about the mystery aspect of
Hmm.
this movie. So Sally's betrothed, her fiance, is being accused of murder, and how the murder even gets uncovered is because he's MIA. He's missing in action. And so she puts she puts Aurora and Arthur on the case, and they don't find him, but they find a body outside of his condo or apartment complex or whatever, and he's still missing. And so this mystery turns into a web of deceit and lies and bad business practices and ended friendships and so on and so forth. So Chad, talk to the people and to me. What did you think about the mystery of this?
I like the mystery in this one.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good. And like the last movie, had a lot of characters with some motives. So you
Mhm.
weren't sure, you were kind of wondering who it was. But like the last one, I figured it out about an hour in.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
The and I liked at the end that Sally's fiance there turned out to be a bad guy and actually did get arrested at the end. He was
Spoiler
involved.
alert.
He was involved not in this murder, but in a previous murder that took place like years ago.
And bad business practice because they were
And
going
yeah,
to it was some
yeah.
like fraud or theft or something.
Yeah. So I was happy that he didn't turn out to be a good guy, that he actually was a bad guy at the end. But the one thing that confused me about this,
Yeah.
at the end, when Aurora figures out who the murderer is or
Mhm.
was,
Mhm.
there was like no confrontation. Like most of these at the end, the person figures out who the murderer is.
Mhm.
So they confront the person, and the murderer like pulls a gun on him and
Mhm.
like kidnaps him and ties him up to a chair or something. And then the police come and save him. But there was no confrontation in this one. She just walked up to her and said, "You're the one who did it." And the woman's like, "Yeah, so what?" And then the police come and arrest her. There was like no. I kind of missed the confrontation part of the movie.
Yeah. Now, do you think
Yeah,
it's because it was by accident? Like she didn't mean to? Because they weren't like him and her going back and forth, and then she accidentally, like it was an accident how he ended up dying, right?
oh, there was he. She didn't mean to push him off the balcony.
Right.
Oh, is that?
That's what I
Oh,
took it
okay.
as. Like she
Could
didn't
be. Okay.
put up much confrontation because it was an
Yeah,
accident.
she
So maybe
didn't.
she didn't feel like, in essence, it was something wrong. I don't know. Look at me trying to get
Okay.
into
Well,
it.
there when she figured it out, the woman like started to run away. I thought she was gonna like run away and take off, but she
Me
didn't.
too. Yeah.
I thought, oh, okay, we're gonna get a chase scene here. And I was disappointed there was no
Nothing.
chase scene.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like you, I solved it fairly quickly. I didn't, that guy was way too obvious. Like he almost
Yeah. Yeah.
overplayed it to the point where I was like, oh, I knew it
Yeah.
was you.
You
Like,
talking about the best man? Is that who you're talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Yeah.
I forget
Yeah.
his character's name, but when they first interview him, I don't know if he's in his apartment or somewhere, but he opens the door and he gives these very obvious, like, look to the side, contemplating. Okay, okay, yeah. And did he say anything about, like, I was like, whoa, he's way too obvious about this. And I'm thinking, is anyone else
Mm-hmm.
picking up what I'm picking up? And then at the end, I was like, oh yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I was just waiting to see how they were going to get there. But I was like, oh, he
Mm-hmm.
definitely. And with each interaction he had with someone, it confirmed it even more to me that he did it. Or that he had some, like, he was some type of bad guy. He did something.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucked, like, that Sally's fiance was a criminal anyway. Even though I'm just like, after all this, he really did. And she had all this faith. I know her heart was torn from her chest
Mm-hmm.
for that. But I would say overall, while it was easily solvable, I liked it that there were many threads. I like it
Yeah.
wasn't too muddled that you didn't know what was
Right.
going on. It made sense. I was following the stalker girlfriend was creepy and weird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that definitely threw me off at some points.
Mm-hmm. And then when
And
they introduced that guy in the bar, what was his
oh,
name?
Rick,
I wrote his name down.
Rob,
Oh,
did it start with
what
an
was that? I
R?
wrote his name down. What was his oh, he was the plumber, Fred Haskins.
Fred
When they
Haskins.
introduced him, I thought, ooh,
He
oh,
did.
now we got another suspect here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of neat. Threw you for a loop for a few seconds.
Yeah. Something as we kind of close this mystery up, what did you think about the young Aurora and young Arthur working together to solve this?
I thought that they had good chemistry together,
Yeah,
like
I
you said
agree.
before. Yeah, I thought they were a good pair. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see as these movies continue, if they continue with this, how, because they obviously have a thing for each other, how they're not going to get together. Because at some point, Arthur marries somebody else,
But
so
I
later
thought
in
they
life.
were exes. So at some point they do get together, but then they call
Oh,
it
they were
off.
exes? Oh, they do
Yeah.
get together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. Okay. I forgot about the original
Yeah.
storyline. Okay.
So they do
Oh,
get
so they do get,
together, but then they break
okay.
up.
Ah, I gotcha. So I wonder what caused them to break up. Did it
That's
say in the other movies?
I have to watch the first one again. I don't
I don't
know.
know. I can't remember.
I can't remember
That's
either.
right. Okay.
But
All right.
let's talk about what we enjoyed thoroughly. And let's
Oh,
start off with
yeah.
Steve Basic. Let's just start off with
Oh, it was
Steve.
fun seeing Steve Basic playing a detective. That was cool. That was fun.
And he was no
That surprised
nonsense.
me. I'm like,
Yes.
when he showed up on the screen, I was like, hey, I know him.
Yes. He was no nonsense. Like, and I hate that I keep going back to Curious Catering. That's what I thought the energy that Angie was going to bring to Detective Tom that we
Oh,
saw in the
okay.
first Curious Caterer. I'm thinking, okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to bring that type of energy, but it kind of waned in the second one.
hmm
And I now
hmm
seeing Steve Basic, I'm like, oh, this
hmm
is it. That's it right
Yeah.
there.
Well, now I see Steve Baza. I want to see him starring in one of these murder mysteries. That's what I want to see.
They should do one with
Yeah.
older, like garage sale, with someone. Well,
He's,
Cases is
I
already
mean,
married, but yeah,
he was the perfect, serious, no holds barred detective, you know?
full on, full on,
Yeah.
full on. And I love. What did you think about his interaction with Arthur? Like their relationship.
I'm trying to think. What was their relation? Was
It remind.
Arthur?
Mhm.
I can't remember. Was Arthur doing what he was supposed to do? Was he going
Yeah,
against what he
yeah.
was
He
saying? I
was
can't
he
remember.
was he was helping. He was working really hard, almost trying to like prove himself because he was on the detective track. Like he wanted to
Right,
become a
right,
detective,
right.
and so it gave me almost either this father son, uncle nephew, older brother,
Oh,
younger
okay,
brother. Like
okay.
it gave me a dynamic like that. Like I love their relationship, and I want to see more of that as well.
Mhm.
If they were to
Okay.
give us another one, yeah.
All right, all right.
What are some things that you can pull out that you particularly enjoyed?
Well, another fun thing was seeing Karen Krupa.
Yes,
She
she
popped up.
she
She was like a
was.
friend of Aida's or
Yes,
whatever her mother's name is.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. Because I was
yeah,
like, is that my rich auntie? Yes, it
yeah. It
is.
was. Yeah, yeah.
That
So it
was
was
fun.
fun seeing her again. And I
Oh,
liked I liked the opening in this movie. I thought the opening was good. How it
yes.
showed
Oh,
Aurora getting chased, and you're thinking, "Oh man, we're starting off with a chase scene and a murder right now, right at the
we were
beginning."
like,
That was
this is what
cool.
I
And then
wanted in
and then
dancing.
yeah, and then it turns out that it was just a reenactment for some class she was taking. Yeah, but that was fun.
Yes. Speaking of that, I
Yeah.
loved how much her professor was involved and that you could
Mm-hmm.
see her professor acting as a mentor to her through this and how
Mm-hmm.
she um, perfects her library skills like as an
Mm-hmm.
information scientist. Like I
Right.
enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's see what else. And I enjoyed Skylar in this role. Like I
Yes,
said before, I thought she did a really good job in this role. And
me
I
too.
think I think she is so pretty. I'll watch anything that she's in. I'm a
Oh,
Skylar fan.
oh,
Yeah,
she
I gotta
is
say.
beautiful. She
Yeah,
is beautiful.
yeah.
Anything else?
Now, what are your thoughts?
We pretty much covered it. Evan is the best. Steve Basic is the bomb. I I want to see the woman who played Sally not as Sally. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
see
and something
her
else. Yeah.
in a non-mystery Hallmark movie, not a drama,
Uh,
like a lighter movie. I
where
think
she
they.
plays someone with a brain.
Hello. Oops. Oops. You said it. I didn't. Yeah. 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 I enjoyed the people playing their roles. That's the thing I think
Mhm,
that contributed to me enjoying this a lot was the casting
mhm.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the question. Do you want to see a sequel to this movie?
Oh, I do.
Okay. What would you like to see? What are some things you would want to see in the sequel?
Well, I want to see how more of the interaction between Aurora and Arthur,
Yeah.
and find out. Well, I had forgotten that they had dated. Now I want to find out how they got together and why they broke up and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to find out. Oh, geez, if Sally stays the way she is, or if she's going to change, if her personality is going to change.
Now, I'll add a 1.A to this question. Would you want this to be a series?
well, I well, if they continue it, it will be a series, right?
Like if they would you want it to see five like would you want to see 5 or 6 or 7 installments of this?
Oh, instead of like just two or three, I mean.
Like a flower
Oh,
shop or a picture perfect, you know?
oh, I see, I see, I see. Um, that's a good question. I would say yes if they recast Sally.
I'll drink to that. I will drink. Yes. I'm very much I'm 50-50.
Yeah.
So I want to see a sequel because I want to see where they will take the characters. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I'm like, leave it alone. I'm just like, just leave it alone. And let's just move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be a one off. We know
Hmm.
that they get together in the future and then break up. But let's just let sleeping dogs lie.
Hmm. But like you said, it is a little disappointing as a one-off because it doesn't answer the question of why she's so much into murder mysteries and how she got into all this, you know? It
Exactly. So
never
that's why
it
I'm
just
50-50.
the movie opens up and she's a getting her master's and she's a
Mhm.
teaching assistant, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
She's getting her master's in what, literature or something like that or something.
No,
But
information management sciences or something like that. But she's
but
TAing.
she's specializing in crime, right?
No, she's
Crime,
a
something
T.
about crime.
Her job is a TA for a crime fiction class, but her master's is in information sciences, which is like library
Okay, just
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, library science. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it would be interesting to know why she got interested in these murders mystery books.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't really get a good idea of that in this, which is
yeah,
interesting as
yeah,
well. I will
yeah.
say though, I don't want one now. Like don't just start them filming now. I would want to see another Cut Color Murder or Nikki and Nora before I
Oh,
see
okay.
another
Bef-
Dancing Detective or Aurora Tea Garden.
okay. All right. Okay.
Because I think they're not doing right by those two. I think those two
Mm-hmm.
have the setup.
Mm-hmm.
They have the best setup from last year to be a
Mm-hmm.
really good series with how they left off.
Yeah. Why not continue those rather than make new ones? You know.
Especially that
Why?
cliffhanger on Cut Color Murder
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
delicious, so
Yeah. It was.
satisfying, so
Yeah.
satisfying. I was like, "Oh, they done something now, man," and
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to see where they take that. So
Mm-hmm.
now I did hear some scuttlebutt that Julie Gonzalo was doing a Christmas movie or another movie with Mr. McNally. So I'm like, wait a
Right.
minute, how we get her in that and we ain't do a Cut Color Murder yet?
Uh-huh.
And then how was Rhiannon doing two movies and she still ain't doing Nikki and Nora yet?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Rhiannon, she makes a movie like every 2 weeks. I mean,
That
she's just
woman,
nonstop.
you want to talk about
She's
booked
just
and
pounding them
busy?
out.
Her and
Yeah.
Brittany
Oh yeah.
Bristow,
Yeah.
they're doing it.
Yeah. They never stop. Yeah.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
Well, Chad, I don't want to say last words. That sounds very morbid. But anything you'd like to say to close us out for this first Chad and Dara mystery recap?
Anything I want to say?
You know I'm going to
Uh
ask you this every time you come, Chadley.
okay.
So,
All right. Okay. I'm gonna quote George Carlton. Is that his name?
first
You
of
remember
all,
the comedian? Was his name George Carlton? Carlton, something like that. What was his name?
I don't know. I don't
I,
know.
well, anyway, here's a quote of his. Let me think how it went. Always keep your circle of friends small because 2 out of 3 murders are committed by people who know the victim. I think I got that right.
Oh gosh, y'all stretch your hands and pray for Chad. Let's Chad, where can people find you on the World Wide Web and in the social media sphere?
Oh, geez. They can find me on social media at Chad Maurice or at GAC TV Podcast or at chadmaurice.com or greatamericanchat.com. There
I
you
didn't know
go.
you had a ChadMaurice.com. Come on,
Oh,
namesake.
sure do.
Okay, okay, okay. And every all of those links will be in the show notes, you guys. I want to thank my illustrious co-host, Mr. Chad the Maurice, for yeah, I said that right, for joining me here for this recap. Oh, wait!
What?
We forgot to rate Aurora Tea Garden. How many magnifying glasses would you give Aurora?
Okay. Oh, eh, mm, this is rough. I'll go 3.5.
Ooh, I call 3.5.
Oh, okay. All right.
3.5. Yeah.
All
Yep.
right.
Yep. So I did enjoy Dancing Detective more, but Aurora held its own. So
Yeah.
yes, indeed. All right, y'all. Well, he is Chad. I am Dara, and this will conclude this episode of Dear Hallmark. Guys, eat well, travel often, and watch a Hallmark movie that you love. All right. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Ciao, my friends.
Bye.